So I have another question. This goes to both of you, and it relates to working with a number of IP owners who have created their IP, their patented product, their technology, primarily in a tangible form that needs to get produced, and so production is usually looked at in China. So, the challenges for a number of these companies is getting themselves set up to be able to manufacture in China, and who are the reputable companies to work with, and what do they need to think about in terms of keeping control of their IP, working with Chinese manufacturers in terms of if they have know-how or whatever it is. And then, of course, what do they need to do to get the products out of China and into a market such as the US?
Bob, you want to take this?
Okay. Working with a Chinese company on licensing for a product probably means that you're not producing the product, or maybe you are producing the product in China. You have to be sure that you're working with a reputable person, whether they're producing or you're giving them licensing. You have to be sure that they have, some type of stability. Maybe an internationally audited financial statement would be great. A lot of people, you're at a trade show, people come up and say, "Oh, I can manufacture this product for you," and
Right.
they're 10 steps away from a manufacturer. If you're looking for manufacturing of a product without having a market in the US, then you're looking at a very different situation. And that's where you want someone like Mark checking out these companies that you're going to give your intellectual property to manufacture. Bringing it out of China, it's the same thing. You're going to you want to look at the duty rates, you want to look at the tariffs, you want to look at the freight, and you want to look at the lead time. Lead time is really important when you're looking at China because there's so many, there's so many ships going out of the Ningbo port, for instance, that, it might take you 2 weeks just to get on a ship to be shipped out. So that's one of the things you want to look at. A strategy. You want to make sure that if you want to give this manufacturer your license for China, the product stays in China, that he doesn't sell it to exporters that can then move into your markets where you're already selling your product. So those are things that you won't, if you run in with the right company, you won't run into those problems. And when I was doing all the work in China, I noticed that all the big companies that you wouldn't have any problem with were being acquired by European and American companies. So, the thing is, it's always, know your partner and know your partner well. You can continue on that, Mark.
Yeah, I think Bob has given quite some very valuable advice from the commercial perspective. From legal perspective, I would say 2 points. First one is to have a good contract. Many
Very.
people would contract with their Chinese supplier using the same form as they are using in the other countries, but that cannot. Sometimes that can not be sufficient. So China gets many China specific rules, and just to give you one example, for example, the governing law and the dispute resolution in the contract. I have seen many companies using, for example, the New York law and New York court to as a governing law and the jurisdiction for disputes, and they don't know a judgment made by the New York court is not enforceable in China. So basically, you have formulated a very fancy contract that is not enforceable. So that's some that's a tragedy that we wouldn't want to see. That's number one. And number two is with respect to the technology companies. If you are handing over the technology to the Chinese suppliers or OEM manufacturers for manufacturing, just get it protected as much as possible. By saying get it protected, it means you probably need to file the patents. If that's something that you cannot file, then just hand over as little as possible. You can use, for example, some black box to to protect the insider information or layout. You can you don't have to disclose everything before you can get the manufacture work done.
Okay, good
So
point.
that's that's the best I can tell you about the protection of the IP or the trade secrets. The less you hand over, the safer you are.
Sure.
You know,
Well,
Mark, let me
go ahead.
Mark, you mentioned previously. I remember back when our product was being sold everywhere as counterfeit products being manufactured. And when you looked at the factories that were making them, they were ex-employees that were in charge of those factories. So those employees found out the technology, they started using it, and they figured out they could go out on their own.